Stan. Can you guys hear me? I'd like to know if, oh, there. So, who is here with me? I see Eleanor and Stan. Well, I don't see you, but I know you're there. um, and then Eleanor and Stan, you know what I'd love to know is Mariposa or Yosemite, right? I think that's near Yosemite. Is it safe to drive there in a couple of weeks if I don't have a four-wheel drive? Because I'm thinking of actually going for the first time ever. So I'd love it if you guys could email me later and let me know that. Dina, good morning. Yes, I'm live now. Dina, can you hear me? Hi, George. Good morning. I did have a wonderful week off. And my week off doesn't mean I'm not doing yoga, believe me, because I actually started an online course for osteoporosis on Tuesday last week. And I taught a pop up class, which is kind of the modern terminology, for some girl in Missouri. She found me online, so I taught a class on Saturday for her group. So, but yes, I did have a nice week off doing whatever else I was doing. Good morning, Nancy. How are you? And Michael, good morning. So I'm assuming you guys can all hear me. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It was great. On Saturday, somebody sent me an email and said, I did the class this morning with you, but for some reason I wasn't able to chat live with you. And so I got back to her and I said, well, that's because I wasn't live. And so it was a recording. And then I thought, that's interesting. If you're actually doing a recording, not realizing that it's not live, I think we do show up differently, right? If you're watching something where you thought it's live, I don't know. I do think there's something different in our behaviors. So anyway, this is yoga for wellness. And I love that. I love that term and I love the freedom it gives me. Um, okay. Okay. All right. Thanks, Eleanor and Stan. That's good to know. Anyway, all right. Well, if you guys want to tell me anything in particular that's going on with you, any particular area that you're feeling that you have issues, I thought today, since we were off for a week, I thought it would be really nice to do total body and to focus on stretching our body to create space for the nervous system to travel through, for the blood vessels. I was reading something yesterday and I forgot about this. And there was a study done in July that had just come out that talked about when we stretch our legs. Supta Pada Gustasana #1 is the name of the pose, and Supta Pada Gustasana 2, when we stretch the thighs and then we take our leg out to the side, that there was actually research done that scientifically proves that we're stretching our blood vessels. And so, because cardiovascular health is so important, and it used to be that it was mostly men that had issues with cardiovascular health, when you look at number of people in the hospital with cardiovascular issues, heart disease, and other related issues, most of the people were male. And in my online training right now, my teacher was saying that up until menopause, it is more men that they see in India that have heart conditions. And after menopause, it's almost more females than males in India. I'm not sure about the statistics here in the US. So, with that said, thinking about our cardiovascular health, if we have the ability to actually stretch our tissues, to stretch our blood vessels, to create more either length or to unobstruct maybe some potential congestion that exists in them. And another thing I was reading that is pretty much on par with what we're speaking about now is that some supplements that we take actually calcify in the soft tissues, and the arteries is one of those places that they're finding that calcification. So let's see, when we do stretch our body, let's think about we're actually freeing up congestion, whether it's actually physical stuff we could see, or we're creating more space energetically for our body to function, to flow, and all of that. Um, Good morning, Lynn. I see that you have joined in. So it's so nice to have you here. It's nice for me to know that you guys are out there. Claudia, how are you? I feel like I haven't seen you for a while. Seen you in the see you way that I'm seeing you now. Carolyn, good morning. All right, so this is great. I don't know what you heard of what I was just talking about. That today the intention is going to be I'm going to do total body and I'm going to do a lot of stretching to release, create space, free up congestion in the physical, mental, emotional, and energetic layers. So that's a lot of stuff. So the parts of you I could see and touch, and the parts of you I cannot see and cannot touch. So the gross and the subtle aspects. All right. Yes. Okay. So with that said, for today's class, I'd like you to have a block, a strap, and a blanket, and then of course your mats. And let's do that. Let's get ready. So making sure you have those props with you. And if you don't have a blanket or a block, get something that you can actually uh, put between your legs to activate some of your muscles or whatever it is we end up using this for. So a blanket or a towel or something. And then go ahead and place those on the side. We're going to begin today with some kind of supported chest opener because many of us sit often. And to take out some of that sitting or to bring it in different shape, I'd like you to take whatever it is you're using, a blanket or a towel, and I'd like you to roll it up. So it's rolled instead of folded. It's going to be more of a narrow and a higher surface. For some of you, you are going to need two things, or if you have a pretty long, uh, if this is pretty long, when we do come down, you may need to fill in your head. So for some of you, you may need to double this up when we're on the floor, and you'll see what happens, what your needs are when you come into that. So that's going to go along the spine, and then the arms are going to go out to the side. And just a little bit before I come down onto the floor about arms to the side, we want to make sure that the shoulders stay away from the ears, that you have as much space in the neck as possible, because we're going to do a lot to free up congestion in the upper back and neck area. And with the shoulder, it's interesting. There's the spine of the clavicle bones, the shoulder blades, and the arm bones. This part of your spine is separate. This is your appendicular spine. The bones of this are your appendicular spine. And then you've got your axial spine, which is your head, your spine, your rib cage, your pelvis, and your legs. So this part that's separate is connected with connective tissue and muscles. Quite often the shoulder works as one unit, bunching up towards the ears. So when we are on the floor, let's try to open up and stretch the musculature of the upper chest area without having this happen. And it's a subconscious, involuntary act in the conscious sense. You're not doing it, it's happening, but so often that happens. So when we do go on the floor, we come out to the sides, we're trying to stretch some of the postural muscles here. You're going to notice this upper arm bone, the humerus bone, how high you can elevate it before everything wants to be helping, and especially if you have issues in your shoulder. So I'd like you to be very aware of that. And I think that that is one of the goals that I try to share in my teachings, is to give you this inner body awareness. It's called interoception, so that you know what is happening in your own body, so you can start to move, sit, walk, and stand differently according to what your body's needs are. So take the prop that you have rolled up, bring it all the way to the very lower back. So you're not sitting on it. Your tushy is on the floor and the prop begins right at the low back. If you have osteoporosis and you're going to come to the floor, it's better to reach to the side and come down to keep your spine uh, out of flexion. And then if you do not have bone density issues, you could come through flexion. Try to get the lower part of your body to touch the prop first, and then come all the way into this position. Keep the knees bent at first and take your arms out to the side. So that prop is along your spine. And then notice if you're someone that needs your head to be supported, or can you lengthen your neck, put the center of your head on that prop, blanket, towel, whatever. For some of you, you may have a bolster. If you do, that's a pretty big opener, and you may need to support that And if you have that prop, I'm imagining that it is something you're familiar with in your how you have to prop that up. So the arms are out to the side. You're going to bring your awareness to your neck, creating as much space as possible. And the arms are out to the side. Can you begin to bring your awareness to your body? So notice first, the knees are bent, the feet are flat. Have the feet be a little wider than the body and allow the knees to fall in towards each other. This will relax the hips and allow the low back to adjust to the curve above it being affected. The curve that we're really having an effect on here is the thoracic, which is where all your ribs are attached. This is the part of the spine that the natural curvature of it is in the flexion position. So because we're living in flexion with our head forward, this curve accentuates, and there can be tightness that comes into the body. And in more extreme cases, there is actually calcification. So there's some strengthening of the bones, or I hate to use that word strengthening. The bones calcify and create more surface for the malalignment of the spine in this position. So we want to correct this curve, start to open up the deep front part of the spine and the attachment of the one spine, the appendicular spine and the axial spine. So there's a lot of intricacies in this part of our body. And then I want you to let your arms be out to the side. You have as much space as possible in your neck. Feel the center of your head supported on the prop, blanket, or whatever it is you have. Feel the center spine, the whole rib cage is supported. And then a little softer in the low back. And then you feel the sacrum, which is the base of your spine, on the floor. So feel that alignment in your body. Bring your awareness to your sacrum, to your pelvis. And notice if you feel any stretching, deep stretching happening on one side or on both sides. The sacrum is the part of the spine that's on the floor. It's in your pelvis. So because your tushy is not on the blanket, the sacrum, part of the sacrum is on the floor, and then part may be up against the blanket that you have at your back. Want you to feel your sacrum here. Notice what you notice. Even, not even. Just being very aware. Feel the support of your spine, and your spine is being lifted away from the floor. So the arms are moving downward with gravity. There probably is, for most of you, a sensation of stretching. And you may feel it along the spine to either side of your heart, or you may feel this where the arms attach to the body. So just be aware of where it is for you that you feel this. And then notice if it's equal on both sides. Let's allow the breath to help facilitate this movement. Keep the mouth closed. Let the back teeth separate. Let the tongue rest in the jaw. Wiggle the jaw back and forth, side to side. And then bring your awareness at first to the natural rhythm of your breath. Let's relax the rest of the body. Take your awareness over to your left hand and let your left hand and your left arm be heavy. So notice if there was any holding, letting go of all of that. Bring your awareness over to the right hand, the back of the hand, the back of the forearm, the arm bone, and allow there to be a softening and a release of the arm, consciously letting go of any muscular contraction that you have access to. If you're someone that has issues in a certain body part, This is a good thing to do, to close the eyes, to bring your conscious awareness to the area you have the issues, to see if you can consciously bring in space, relaxation, noticing what you notice. Since we've been here for a little while, if you'd like to explore straightening the legs, I thought I unplugged that phone. I'm gonna let that, I did unplug it, but I didn't take it off its cradle. The arms are to the side. If you're going to explore straightening the legs, take one leg and slowly extend it. Notice how that feels in your body, especially the low back. You just, and then slowly take the other leg and lengthen the other leg and notice how that leg feels. Maybe this is okay for you, or maybe it felt better for you to be with bent knees. And then you could take your legs a little wider if you'd like. So this is a suggestion. You could see if it feels good for you. Be kind to your body and let your body move in the way that it wants. If you'd like to deepen the stretch in the upper body, for some of you that may be an option. You could actually raise the upper arm bone. It may deepen the stretch in your upper body. Try not to let the shoulders lift up to the ears. Still allow that space to exist in the neck. Mouth is closed. Now we're going to use the breath to stretch the torso even more. So the lungs themselves are not muscular. It's the muscles of respiration that create the movement of the chest and the ability for the lungs to take in more breath. So bring your awareness to your lower ribs, all the way around. Let's first do the upward movement. So as you breathe in deeply, allow the lower ribs to move up towards the sky on your inhales. There's an upward and a slight sideways movement. Be in your body. Let your exhales bring in as much release to wherever the tension is that was created in this position you're in. And then bring your awareness to the side ribs. So the lower ribs at the side, or even the upper middle ribs as well. Get wider when you breathe in. Breathe in slowly. Feel the stretch deepen in your chest area. Bring your awareness to the back of your body. As you breathe in, direct the breath back. See if you could feel your spine pressing into your prop. Try to let the lower spine press into the prop as well, your blanket or whatever's behind you. And then bring your awareness to your clavicle bones at the top of your chest. On these next few breaths, breathe in and up towards your head. Bring your awareness to the lower lungs, the whole entire perimeter. So, where the diaphragm, the primary breathing muscle, it's like a plunger. And as we breathe in, this sucks or draws the air into the body. As we breathe out, it presses up and compresses the air out of the body. The inhalation is a voluntary movement, it's muscular. The exhalation is actually a reaction, it's not a muscular movement. The diaphragm contracts to move downwards, and then the exhale is a going back to its natural place, natural state. So on your inhales, bring your awareness to your entire lower rib cage as you draw the breath into your body, feeling the belly rise, the diaphragm expand, moving downwards. So the inhale is active. The exhale is passive in terms of movement. So on your inhale, notice that action happen and then be an observer and slow down your exhale as the breath leaves the body. Try to feel the whole perimeter of your diaphragm. Even feel the back part of your ribs and the side of your ribs moving. Wherever you are, take 3 more breaths like this. Very curious, very in your body, feeling and noticing. Finish up your last breath. Letting that last breath go. Bring your awareness to your body, to the back of the body that's on the floor. Bring your awareness to the sense of heaviness that's in your body. See if you can feel a heaviness in the arms as if you have no control over them and everything has softened. And you are able to create a relaxation in the holding aspect of the muscles, letting those little stabilizing muscles in the joints relax, letting the body relax as we use that diaphragm, bringing the awareness there and stimulating the relaxation, repairing, and healing zone in the body. This is for anti-inflammatory aspects. This is for anti-aging, anti-pain, anti-breakdown, and all the good things that we have control over for our health, for our immune system, connecting to our breath, and especially that diaphragm, that deep diaphragmatic breath. Bring your awareness to your fingers and your toes as you start to communicate from your brain all the way down to the tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers. Starting to move your hands and your feet, rolling your wrists, rolling your feet. Let's bring the feet to a straight position. If your knees are bent, take your feet straight. Take your arms overhead. Stretch your body glove. Reach your arms as if somebody is gently and lovingly holding your wrists. And if you're someone with wrist issues, make sure you're feeling safe here. Gentle stretch, lengthening your body. Point your feet as if you're trying to touch the floor with your toes. And then flex your feet strongly. I want you to point your feet and notice, are they pointing the same direction? Do you have the same range of motion? Are you able to try to get the tips of the toes, the big toes, to touch the floor? Is it the same on the right, same on the left? See if you can notice that. And then flex the feet. Toes are towards you. So, Nancy, I'm thinking about you in particular right now. Let's point our toes. If there is hip asymmetry or anything going on, I want you to see, all of you, of course, but Nancy in particular on this right side. Just notice, are you able to get more movement in one ankle than the other? And all of you could actually pay attention to this as well. I'm just particularly thinking about um, some of my conversations. And then let's go ahead and take your knees. So that little self-diagnostic right there with pointing the toes and noticing if one side was different than the other just can give you an indicator of what's happening farther up the kinetic chain, especially if you know you have some asymmetry in your body, or if you've had replacement parts on one side or the other. Just really good to have this diagnostic, because then you could start to work on strengthening or lengthening one side if you do have an issue. All right, let's roll on to our sides. Hopefully you were able to get some nice relaxation response. I know I was. I felt so heavy in my body when I did that. So hopefully you were able to, and there's a lot of wisdom shared in that beginning breath work, body opening sequence we just did. Let's take the left hand onto the floor and leading with the shoulder, not the head. Let's be really mindful here as we move, taking your hand onto the floor, spread your fingers and push your hand into the floor so strongly that it really is this part of your body that's lifting you up and you're not lifting your head up. And then bring yourself all the way up. Let's take our blanket, open up your blanket and refold it. We're going to begin in a seated position today. Take the blanket and fold your blanket in its regular fold, and then we're going to do a seated position. So bolstering up or elevating your body will be nicer for most of you. So if you have a blanket like this, you're going to take it and fold it into two so that you could come to sit on your blanket. So sit on that elevated blanket, and some of you may need even more elevation. So if you have pillows or something, that would be really nice. And then crisscrossing the legs works for many, especially people with knee issues. And then you may need to put something underneath your knees. So if the hips don't like this, or your hips are really high up here, you could put something, rolled up towels or something there. And then reach back and let's create this nice base for our spine to come out of. So reach back, grab a hunk of flesh and take a whole hunk of flesh back so that you're moving the muscles and any stored energy you have in the tushy area. And then we're going to take our feet. You could either bring one foot in front of the other. Not everybody has that range of motion in the ankles and the knees, and or you could crisscross your legs. So find whatever feels like the best movement for your body. And then if the knees don't like this at all, come into Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet are together. And if this still feels uncomfortable and there's a lot of pulling in this part of your body, if you're in a real strong flexion in this, you could come with straight legs or even a little spread legs here. So let's come into whatever is appropriate for you. So we're going to see that this pelvis, think of this pelvis as a flower pot. Think of your spine as a stem, and think of your head as a flower, especially a big sunflower or a dinner plate dahlia. That's going to be my new one, the dinner plate dahlia. So think about your head as this big, beautiful flower, and your spine is the stem. And a big flower would have a very thick stem. and the pelvis is the flower pot. So out of the front edge of the flower pot could spill dirt if you tipped it forward. And then if you tipped your flower pot backwards, you would spill dirt out of the back. So we're going to get this analogy to be very mindful in the way we move today. Take your hands on your thighs. We're going to do a Sufi grind, stirring up the pot, stirring up and warming up hip joints, low back muscles, muscles of rotation. So let's hold on to your thighs. Inhale, lengthen your spine or your stem. So make it really tall and long. Bring your chest forward, almost like you were a buck. If two bucks meet in the forest, they chest butt. Do they really do that, by the way? Wouldn't their heads get in the way? I guess they do. I thought they usually did their horns, but for some reason I think about bucks chest butting, and maybe that's wrong. I don't know who does it, but some animal does. So reach your heart up, lengthen your stem, bring your heart forward, inhale, and then you're going to move yourself over in one direction. Feel the opposite side of your body stretch. Then bring your awareness to your tummy as you contract your tummy towards center. Push your belly button to your spine. Feel your body going onto your tailbone. If there was dirt in your flower pot, it would be spilling out the back edge. And then bring yourself over to the other side. Lengthen your spine when you move. Inhale forward. Exhale back. So go slow so you can actually feel all this movement. Try to let the whole entire rib cage move around, and it moves around beyond the top of the pelvis. Inhale, your chest comes forward. You could close your eyes here, trying to find length in your spine and not compressing the spine. Feel what you feel. Go slow so you feel everything stretch. You exhale back. You inhale when your body comes forward. Warming up hips, warming up the lower spine. For some of you, adding the weight of the head may feel therapeutic, letting your head go along for the ride. For others, though, that may make you feel that you have a little motion sickness. So notice what feels appropriate for you doing this. And then bring yourself back to center. Find that length in your spine or the stem. Place the flower back on top of your stem. Inhale forward, and you're going to go in the opposite direction. If you do close your eyes, you'll feel that you're rolling around the perimeter of your pelvis so that you can actually see that you are getting this weight distribution going around. So that means your upper body is moving beyond the pelvic area, and the muscles are going to stretch a little more, creating space in between your pelvis and your ribs, keeping that range of motion in the body. And trying to be in your body as much as possible. So bringing the conscious awareness to the body. This can help to harmonize the mind and the body. It brings you out of the part of the brain that is stimulated during the stress response, and especially in a chronic stress response state when we live there for too long, meaning we're there often. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. Let's take the legs straight, noticing if the hoses got kinked. So the knees were bent there, flexed, and so where the hips were actually externally rotated. Just notice what you notice there. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You could take your hands. Let's do a little love for the quadriceps and then the kneecaps, rolling around your knees in one direction and rolling around in the other. We're going to come back into the position. If you have the Sukhasana, you're going to come into a crisscross leg position. You're going to look down. I want you to switch. So whatever leg is in front, you're going to bring that in the back. That may be an opposite direction of the way you were. All right, we're going to do the 6 movements of the spine here. Take your hands on the front. Reach your spine nice and long. Bring your chest forward. Inhale. As you exhale, contract your core. Push your belly button back towards your spine. Keep your spine nice and long. Let the chin come down towards the chest. So feel that upper back stretch, feel the lower back stretch. Inhale to come forward, go slow. Instead of just unconsciously throwing your bag of bones around, can you be inside your spine? So that when you come forward, you feel your body weight rocking to the front edge of your pelvis. You're opening up the front of your vertebra. So you're compressing the fluids that are in the vertebral discs to the front of your spine. And then you're going to exhale, contract your core, flexing the back. Let the low back go back the most. If you have osteoporosis, minimizing flexion in the thoracic spine. So if you have osteoporosis, you want this to be in the lower body where the flexion occurs and not in the upper body. Inhale to come forward, exhale back. We spent quite a bit of time in the beginning of class today in a supine position on our back. And what that did is it allowed the fluids that were compressed out of your spine in a seated or standing position until you came to your mat today. It allows the fluids to go back in and hydrate the spine. So we are now going to move this hydrated spine and all of the fluids that are in your spine, moving them through the discs evenly. Bring yourself back to center. Let's sit nice and tall. So this is not just woo-woo stuff I'm sharing. This is legitimate information. When you stand, we compress and squeeze our vertebra, which squeezes or compresses fluids into the surrounding tissue. And then when you're in the supine position laying down, that went back into the discs. And now we're moving the discs. We're pressing the fluids back and forth, side to side, and then rotating them. Let's do the lateral movement. This is a fan favorite. One hand goes to the side, the other hand comes up and over. Feel that beautiful stretch all the way down into your hip or side body, waist area. You inhale up, you exhale over. And then part of our immune system is the lymphatic vessels. So there's a lot of lymphatic nodes and vessels along the side of your body. So when you raise your arm, you're stretching the pathway that the fluid moves in. And this helps to move the fluid through the system. So this is great for the immune system, getting your lymphatic fluids to flow. Inhale up, exhale over. Let your hands go a little wider. Maybe come onto the fingertips. Let the elbow bend of the hand that's going on the floor. The next time we come to the side, let's stay here for a whole breath cycle. Keep your hand alongside your body. So notice if it came forward. We don't want to flex the upper spine. Keep your upper body open so that if you did look up towards the sky, you could see the ceiling right in front of your arm because your arm is so far back, it's not forward. And then let's inhale up. Let's go to the other side, coming up and over, reaching your arm over, creating length on this side of your body, looking up to the sky to make sure that you're in that nice open position. Push the heart forward and then bring yourself up. Let's do some rotation. Take your hands on your chest. We're going to warm up the rotational muscles of the trunk. Keep your arms close to your body, warming up the side to side, and then bring yourself back to center. Bring the opposite arm on the knee. Take that hand behind you. Get tall first. So arrange your flower pot so it's in nice alignment. Then your stem is nice and long. Push your heart forward, lower your shoulders, slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Inhale. As you exhale, the low ribs, the middle ribs, and the upper ribs rotate, rotate, rotate. Press your heart forward. Be nice and tall in your spine. Deep breaths down to your belly. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. This is good for strengthening the bones. It's the best way to strengthen the vertebra is to do rotation. Take the opposite hand on the opposite knee, the hand behind you. Get nice and tall. Inhale. Lower the shoulders, press the heart forward, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Exhale, low ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Lower the shoulders. Contract your core to protect your lumbar spine. So feel like you're hugging your lumbar spine with your core muscles. Deep breaths down to your belly. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself all the way out. Take the legs straight. Take the legs straight. Let's inhale to point and exhale to flex. This is what I was having you do when we were on the floor. And I was pointing out to notice if you feel the toes coming down towards the floor at the same length. And I was having us do that in a supine position, being inside the body to feel if you could feel that. Just nice to develop internal awareness so that you can work on the things you need to work on, especially if there's asymmetry, which there is for a lot of us. And then let's inhale the legs open, exhale the toes towards each other. Inhale, and then exhale. Try to keep your legs straight. This is a hip joint movement here. Inhale. And then bring yourself back to a neutral position. Let's take, well, I'm going to imagine that this for you guys is the right leg is straight and the left knee is bent. Then you're going to take the right hand, bring the back of the hand on the inside of the leg. The thumb is up towards the sky. Take the left hand forward and keep that spine nice and long here. So make sure you don't bend your spine, especially if you have osteoporosis right there in that middle spine. You're going to inhale, look at your thumb, let your finger look at your thumb, inhale to open, exhale to close. So if you don't have osteoporosis, you could do a little bit more flexion in your spine. And if you do have osteoporosis, you want to not flex that spine. So you definitely keep the head on top of the spine and think about it as a stem with a flower. So keep the flower on top of the stem. Inhale, looking at your thumb, exhale. It's like a rainbow. And then the last one, inhale to open, stay here. Looking up at your thumb, lengthen your spine, press your heart forward, adding a few spinal movements at once here. Take one more breath. And then you're going to go ahead and bring yourself up. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Bending the opposite knee, bringing the heel in towards the body. The hand goes on the inside of that lower leg, thumb is up. You always want to look at your thumb here. Just always a good idea to try to keep yourself as safe as possible and be very body aware. We bend this so much as it is because usually our flower or our head is forward, cooking, texting, computer. And so noticing what's happening to this part of our spine is really important. Okay, and then more so if you have osteoporosis. Let's look at the thumb. You're going to inhale as you open, lengthen the spine, rotating, open, exhale slowly to come to center. Go slow so you could feel what you're doing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. And then one more. Stay here. Look at your thumb. Nice long stem. Flowers on top of the stem. One more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself out. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Soles of the feet together. Come to the front edge of your prop that you're sitting on. Hold on to your lower leg bones. Get nice and tall here. Inner thigh adductor stretch. Pulling on the pelvis, stretching the pelvis. So now if you would like to bend forward a little bit, the spine stays nice and straight. So I just want to turn to the side to show you this action. So the action of flexing at the hip joints, this would not be this. You don't want to round the body. The goal is not to try to get the head to the floor or anything like that. The goal is flexion as the spine still stays in its natural curved state. And then go ahead and come up. Take the legs really wide here. So take the legs as wide as you can, and you're near the front edge of your blanket. If you need to reach down to take the flesh back so you're on the pelvic bones. Legs are really wide here. And then to go deeper here, it is hip flexion that can go a little deeper. And again, the spine needs to stay straight. So this is not about, let me try to get my head down, let me try to come here. It's not that. If you are going to come closer to the floor, it's with that straighter spine, and then keep the head up. So when the head goes down, that puts a lot of force on the upper back and neck. So hold the head up, and that's going to strengthen that part of your body to hold your head up against gravity. Legs are wide. If you'd like, you can walk your hands over to one leg, keeping that spine straight, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then if you'd like, you could take to other side. So the movement and the flexion forward is only what you have available. I will tell you, for a lot of people, I mean, quite a few actually, to even be in this position here is so much stretching on the inner thighs or the inner knees or even behind the thighs, that just being in this position is a lot of stretch. So it's your body. Feel your way through what feels appropriate for you. Let's bring ourselves out of that. Take the blanket. Let's come up and do a little crawling to help stabilize, to help deeply set our joints. So you're going to do a little crawling, something I've been practicing quite often now that my teacher in India has explained the therapeutic value of crawling. So notice where your flower pot is in your stem. Do not let your flower fall down to the floor. So keep your head up. It's actually nice to look forward a little bit. If the wrists don't like this, take the wrists pretty far forward so you don't actually put too much weight on them. Open up your fingers. There's a lot of neurological firing in the brain right now when you walk. This is helping to reprogram and repattern certain neural pathways in the brain. And you're looking forward towards your hands. And then bring yourself, let's come all the way up. Take the fingers, shake, shake, shake. So we're going to do a little to lengthen the psoas. This is the muscle that gets tight from sitting. You may need to use a block, and I will give quite a few options for this. There's going to be quite a few options here. So you're going to take your left foot forward. So bring your left foot forward, and you may need to have your block handy. So bring your left foot forward. And then if balance is an issue, because this is a balance pose, we're strengthening the leg we're standing on. So the right leg here is a standing leg, and that right hip joint is going to get a lot of stimulation. And then the left foot is forward. Press the left foot into the floor and feel how that activates the posterior chain, the glutes. So really push that left foot into the floor. Don't let this just be that you're weighting your weight on the right. Take your hand on top of your left thigh. Be nice and tall in your spine, your flower pot, your stem, and your flower. You're going to inhale here. When you exhale to come forward, you're going to bend your left knee so your body weight comes forward. And when you do come forward, you want to make sure that your joints are stacked. Ankle joint, knee joint. So if you had your left leg too close to your body and you came forward and your knee was forward of your ankle, that's not what we want. You want to walk your foot more forward if that's the case. You're going to inhale to come forward, hand is on the thigh. Exhale back up. Take your right hand down alongside your body. Inhale, let your right hand go up, let the thumb lead the way. Really reach that right hand away. You take your left hand here, push that left leg into the floor to activate that posterior chain. Exhale one more time. You're going to inhale to come forward. Go slow here. This is pretty deep work. Stay here. If you'd like to take the other hand off, push that left foot into the floor. It's a lot of strengthening. Really push the left foot into the floor so you turn on that left glute. Then you're going to bring your hands together. So for some of you, you may want to come down, taking your left hand on your thigh, right hand on the block, lengthen your spine, and rotate over to the left. So this will be a step one. And then if you want to go a little deeper, taking your hands together, bringing your right elbow on the outside of the left knee, the hands are together, and then lengthen your spine, rotate your trunk. This is where the next level. And then for some of you, you may want to flip your toe under and lift that right knee off the floor. Try to keep your body, try to keep a deep flexion in the hip. So real deep flexion here and in that left knee. Press your right foot into the floor, press your left heel into the floor. or press your right lower leg and left heel like crazy. So really let that left side back body be firing up here and being supportive. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then to come out slowly, you would lower your knee if it's raised. Bring yourself back up. Bring yourself back. So you could stay where you are. I'm just going to turn here so that I won't be facing backwards. But you could stay where you are. Now the right foot is going to come forward. The block is here if you need it. Bringing your right foot forward. So the mistake that I see when I'm with people in person is that the foot is too close to the body. So when the knee comes forward, it goes in front of the ankle joint. And that's not good for the health of that front knee. And largest joint in the body, we need to take care of this. It takes a lot of wear and tear. So when you come into this, let's get the stability to begin with. Push the back shin, top of the foot into the floor, and then push that front heel into the floor. Feel how that really activates that posterior chain, the glutes. Take your hands on your thighs, inhale, and then exhale. And then inhale, let your body come forward. So we usually inhale as we lengthen the body. And here we're lengthening the psoas. Exhale to come back up. Push that right foot into the floor. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale back up. Let's take the left hand down alongside the body. Thumb is up. Inhale, look forward, open your throat. Lengthen your left side body. Push that right foot into the floor. Inhale. And then one more. Inhale to come forward. Stay here. Push the right leg into the floor. You could just keep the left hand up if you'd like, or you could bring the right hand up as well. Strength, balance, and flexibility. So we're going to come into the next version. You're either going to come with your left hand on the block, right hand on the thigh, lengthen your spine, and rotate your trunk to the right. Or, and your body weight's forward, so make sure you didn't bring your body weight back up. You keep your body weight forward here. You're going to take your hands together, rotate your trunk over to the right. Take the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Coming into this, this is the next place to be. And then if you are going to try the final version, you flip the toes under. Lengthen your spine here. So lengthen the stem. Bring this, rotate over to the right. Push the right foot into the floor. Push the left toes into the floor. Take one more breath. And then you're going to slowly put the knee down if it was up. Bring yourself back and bring yourself out. All right, we are going to, let me just turn myself back around here. We're going to come on to the plank pose. So let's do a little version of this. Okay, so you could either be in the full plank, which is this, the modified plank, which is this, or the dolphin plank, which is this. If you do dolphin, have your arms pretty far forward. And we're going to come up. Okay, so you choose what's appropriate for you. I think I'm going to come into the dolphin, actually. I'm going to come into the dolphin today. I'm going to do the modification of the dolphin, actually. So bring yourself into whatever version you want to do. Contract your core. Low belly is pressing up towards the spine. Press your hands into the floor and all of your fingertips if you're up in a regular plank, and if you're in a dolphin plank, press your whole forearm, the palms, the wrists, the forearm, the elbows. Push the feet into the floor. Nice, active. And then wherever you are, it's either the knees and the shins or the feet are going to draw or push into the floor and move up towards the hands or the elbows. So I'm speaking on whatever version you're in. Try to bring yourself into a flexion position, pressing your hands into the floor, your knees or your feet, and activate those deep core muscles. Feel the deep core turn on when you do this. Low back reaches up towards the sky. Take one more breath. And then you're going to bring yourself up. So in the yoga texts, when they describe the asana portion, let's take a break for a second. So you're either going to flip your toes under and sit on your heels, or you're going to flip your toes under and sit on your heels, or you're going to be upright. So when they speak about the asana portion in the main guidebook of yoga, the Yoga Sutras, the two words that are used are effort and ease. So definitely what we've gone through today is we brought in some more challenging aspects and then we pull away into the relaxation. So within your practice, that's important that you do whatever strength you can do that's appropriate for your body. And then you also allow the opposite. You also allow for that relaxation to come into your practice as well. All right. So I wanted to stretch the calves and the back of the body. Let's take the hands forward. Hands are pretty far forward and pretty wide. And then take your knees a little bit farther back on your blanket. Spread your knees. Spread your toes under. Inhale here. As you exhale, you're going to lift your tushy off the floor. So you want to keep your back straight. You want to keep in your natural curves. We're going to walk the dog, so let one heel at a time go down towards the floor so that you feel a strong stretching your calf muscles. And then let your head look forward. Take one more breath. Now try to put both knees down. Lift your tushy up. Let your top thighs come closer to your low belly or low belly towards the top thighs. Press your fingers into the floor. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself down. I know that that can be a challenging pose depending on how often you put that much weight in your body, and especially for females, that whole upper body weight. So maybe you would only do one breath and slowly build up to developing more strength in your body to be able to be in certain positions, whichever ones they are that we're doing. All right, let's take the blanket at the top of the mat. We're going to use the strap, do a little bit more of the yummy stretching I was referring to in the beginning of this today. Come onto your body onto the side. And if you have osteoporosis, so let's just all practice this because it would be a nice thing to learn anyway. Coming to the side, we're going to keep the back straight as we reach the hand away slowly and come all the way down onto your mat, onto your back. Feels nice, right, to be here after the work we just did today. Let your head be supported by the blanket. Just notice what you notice here about your body. Let's bring a knee in. Doesn't matter which knee. Straighten the other leg. We stretched that psoas today, so hopefully there's some space in your body and it feels pretty good for you. Then go ahead and hold on behind the thigh, and we're going to warm up that hamstring muscle. And then let's do the other. So bring the other knee in. Hold on to the shin or underneath. And then straighten the opposite leg slowly. Make sure that feels appropriate for you. Then you're going to hold on underneath, unbending and bending. And then let's take the strap. So bring the opposite knee bent. Let's take the right foot. So bring the right foot in the air. We'll stretch the right foot first. And take a strap and put it on your right foot. So do not throw it onto your right foot. I want your fingers to touch your toes. So you have to bend your hip and your knee in whatever depth you need to get that to happen. Now, this may be a time for some of you to fold the blanket, double the blanket fold, because the higher the head, the easier this will be, especially if you know you have tightness in your body, in your upper back and neck, or in your legs. So it's better to set yourself up for success. And I really want to focus on the ankle, the calf, and the back of the leg. So double your blanket if you need that. And then let's take the strap. The strap's in the arch part of the foot. And you're going to pull one side of the strap and then you're going to pull the other side of the strap. So you're going to actually warm up the ankle joint and stretch the ankle joint. You're pulling on the strap pretty strongly, so you actually feel the foot bending from side to side. And this is the action that the ankle joint does when it comes to balance when you're standing. So imagine the sole of the foot is pointing straight up towards the sky, and you pull on the pinky toe edge, so the sole turns towards the right, and then you do the big toe edge, and there's much more range of motion in the foot in this direction. So almost the whole sole of the foot faces over towards the left. And then you're going to take your strap up to the top, the widest part of your foot. So look up at the widest part of the foot. Keep the kneecap pointing straight back behind you. A slight bend in the knee. Inhale, hold on to the strap pretty hard. As you exhale, unbend the knee. Feel that strong stretch down the back of the thigh. Inhale to bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale. Exhale. And then one more. And then come to straight. Stay here. Pull the strap towards you. Feel that stretch behind the calf muscle. Leg is straight. You're pulling the strap. So really pull the strap towards you. Create even more stress behind that thigh. And then go ahead and relax. Leave that leg up in the air. Take your hands, shake your hands. And then go ahead, bring the strap to the center of the foot, to the arch of the foot. Let's take the opposite leg and straighten the opposite leg. Keep this leg straight. So let's strengthen the pelvic bone here as we're stretching this hamstring. Wrap your hands around the strap. Draw the shoulder blades onto the floor. So feel that shoulder blades are on the floor. And then you're going to keep your left leg, the foot is flexed. Press that left leg into the floor and draw the right leg back towards the wall behind you. Deep breaths here. Keep the legs straight. Try to keep the low back away from the floor. So keep yourself in a neutral pelvis. Press the right tushy into the floor like crazy as you draw that leg back towards the wall behind you. Toes are pointing straight back. Kneecap is pointing straight back. Take one more breath. And then let's go ahead. Let's switch legs. So bring the left foot up into the strap. Take the right foot on the floor. The first thing we're going to do is that ankle joint stretch. So get the strap on the arch. Sole of the foot is up towards the sky. And then you pull on the strap that's in the right hand and then pull on the strap that's in the left hand. And you're going to go back and forth, side to side. Notice this wherever you notice it. Feel what you feel. This can be more of a yummy type stretch. So I hope it feels yummy for you. And then go ahead and come to a static hold. Let's take the strap to the widest part of the foot. And then you're going to pull down on the straps. That's an important part to activate that calf. Slight bend in the knee. The kneecap is pointing towards the wall behind you. Inhale, and then exhale to straighten. Pull the strap down. Inhale to just a bend. Exhale to straighten. Feel what you feel stretching behind your leg. Hopefully you feel quite a bit up by the calf. And then one more. And then come into a hold. Stay here. Pull the strap down. Pull the strap down. Feel that calf stretch. And then go ahead and release. Take your hands, wiggle your hands. Strengthening the fingers here when you're doing all of this tension on the strap. And then bring the strap to the center of the foot. Hold onto the strap. You could wrap your hands around if you'd like. Shoulder blades are on the floor. Firming up that leg. Let's straighten the right leg. Firm up your leg, kneecap points back, leg is straight. Inhale. And on the exhale, draw that leg back towards the wall behind you. Kneecap points towards the wall behind you. Shoulder blades are on the floor. Deep breaths here. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Let's take the strap. Let's bring the knees into the chest. We're going to do a little rotation to wring out any tension that was created today during today's practice. So you're going to push your feet onto the floor, actually. Put the feet onto the floor. Pick the pelvis up and shift the pelvis over to the left. So you're just shifting your pelvis over to the left. Your body stays on the floor. And then draw the knees into the chest pretty high. And then allow the knees to come over to the right. Get the arms around the floor. Try to keep that left shoulder blade on the floor if you can. And then keep going, keep going. If you need to put something underneath your knees or in between your knees, a blanket, a block, that may be something you need to do. So see what feels right for you. Arms are to the side. Try to get that left shoulder blade to be touching the floor. If you'd like, you could take the right hand on top of that left leg, go a little deeper in your rotation, wringing out tension in the body. Let your exhales be the relaxation. Feel the stretch wherever you feel the stretch. You could reach the left hand up a little bit diagonally away from you to increase that stretch. This is meant to be relaxing. So notice what you notice here. Let it be appropriate for your body. Very individual, the twisting. Having the knees up high, a little more safe for that low back. Breathing down to your belly. Take one more breath. So let's be thoughtful in the way that we move here. Let's take one knee, the left knee up first. To bring the left knee up, then let the right follow. Put your feet into the floor, lift your pelvis up, take your entire pelvis over to the right, and then rest it on the floor. Bring the left knee in, bring the right knee in, pretty high towards your chest. Palms are up, hands are on the floor, and then allow your knees to move towards the left. You could take your left hand on top of your right, feeling what you feel there. Deep breaths down to your belly. If you'd like to move the right arm a little more diagonally away from you. Take one more breath. And then slowly Bringing the right knee up and the left. Let's put the feet into the floor. Lift the pelvis up and draw the knees into the chest, rocking side to side. Keep rocking back and forth, side to side, letting your low back press into the floor. Feel that relaxation of the low back in the floor. And then it's time for Shavasana. So you're going to bring yourself into whatever is the appropriate position for you for your Shavasana. So you could have a bolster underneath your legs, blanket under your head, or coming into a straight position with the hands to the body. Close your eyes. Focus on your breath. This is a time for peace. If you'd like, you could repeat over and over to yourself, peace, 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 silently, allowing all of that to come into your body, into your tissues. Let complete relaxation come into your body and your mind. So slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Wiggling those fingers and toes. Then bring the movement into your ankles, your wrists, bending the knees, draw the knees into the chest. Looking side to side. Try to feel the top of your pelvis rolling back and forth side to side. We stretched the low back a lot today. And this is the tendinous part of these muscles that attach onto the bones. Rolling onto your right side. Cradle your head with your right arm, and then using that left hand, lead with the shoulder, not the head, to bring yourself up to a seated position. We're going to close our practice today with sound. We're going to use the sound Om, blending the Ah, the O, and the bringing the sound from the lower lobes of the lungs on up. So let's take our hands together, bringing the hands to the sternum bone. Hands are together, thumbs are to the sternum bone. Lengthen the back of the neck, get nice and tall. Take a deep inhale down to the belly. We bow to each other in Namaste. Namaste. Thank you. I hope you feel good. I hope we were able to stimulate wellness in your body and in your mind. Let's see who is here. Stevie. Oh, I saw that other people came, but I wasn't sure who's here. Oh, so happy to have you here, Stevie. Michael, thank you. You're welcome, Claudia. Yes. So nice to have a week off and then to be back. So we'll definitely be here together next week. This is going to be a 4-week session. I keep my teaching schedule the way that it always has been. It's usually 8 weeks on, 1 week off. And then at the end of the year, it's 4 weeks on, and I think I get almost 3 weeks off. Usually I'm in Asia, so I had to cancel my flight to India and Bali this year. I was supposed to be in India this year. Oh well, c'est la vie. There's always next year or the year after or whatever. It is what it is. Dina, you're welcome. George, yeah, thanks, George. I'm back. Lynn, you're welcome. And Nancy. Yeah, I know. Me too, Nancy. That's why I said that, because I was experiencing that. I'm pointing my toes. I'm like, oh my gosh, my right toe's not going down as much as my left. For me, I'm so in my body trying to uncover my issues. And it's been tremendously helpful in me being as functional as I am, given what I'm dealing with. And all of us have stuff to deal with. So that's what my goals are, is to help us deal with our stuff. So this is about dealing with your stuff. And I'm trying to share as much as I can so you can uncover and notice issues in your tissues and then heal them, repair them, and take care of your body. That's the dealio. All right. I have got to go because, believe it or not, I have another class in 10 minutes for Torrance Memorial, a chair class. Stevie, so good to have you back. Okay, you're welcome, Carolyn. So I'm gonna go because I've got another class. Bye. I'll see you all next Wednesday or Saturday or whenever I see you, or Thursday. All right. Bye. Ooh, new things here. How do I get out of here? I think so.